actually unmute everything this time around.
What you
That way
doing?
we don't get like 2 minutes in, everyone be like, I can't hear anything. Unmute
You mean like in
everything
Star Wars?
this time. Yeah. And let's mute that.
Ooh,
all right.
that layout looks good. Oh my god.
Yeah, I probably should have spent more time this week working on tonight's campaign than I did the overlay, so I apologize in advance.
It's a holistic experience, you know.
Yeah. So in the new overlay, one of the things that came up last week is Carl had mentioned that he did not know that Mike was a spirit, and that's a pretty important piece of information when he's body jumping. So I figured the new overlay, we have the cards, so I'd list what they are, basic information, some of the aspects for the various characters. And we have some amazing artwork that Prim Morgana had put together. Thank you very much.
Of course. It was
Amazing.
enjoyable. Enjoyable little character design exercise. I enjoyed it.
I am actually going to go, and I'm also going to hide one of the cameras real quick because I want to make sure people can see Mike's picture. Once I find where my cameras are.
See ya. Poof.
All right, maybe we'll do that during a break because I don't know what I did with my. I don't know
He's
what
such
folder
a spirit,
I put
he can't be seen even on camera.
Here we go. I'm gonna There's Mike.
It's a memory of who I was.
Mike.
Ooh. You know, I like that picture better. Can we just leave that one up?
Oh.
It's Mike in all his glory.
It's not my fault. He's more handsome than I am.
Yes, unfortunately for you.
All right, so we're, instead of jumping into a recap from last session, because if anyone is tuning in that didn't see how things concluded last week, I encourage you to hunt down our YouTube page. It should be on the About Us, and check out last week's stream. Shewn has been gone, or Frederick Figurola? Freddy has been gone for a little bit. So, Shewn, what has Freddy been up to for the last week and a half of time, game-wise?
Gambling.
Where things left off is, I think where you left the group is, everyone was, and by everyone I mean you, Master, or you, Gillard, and Morgana were all in Morgana's shop, right?
Yeah, last time that I was in the game, yeah. So I'm going to assume that I've been out gambling and have probably stolen a mobster's car by now.
Okay. I was going to go... I actually had a kind of a little side quest for you kind of planned out, that where you ended up in a like a pound, but where the... yeah, you were in cat form trying to escape some mobsters, and you wake up inside a cage inside a vet.
Oh, well, that's easy to get out of. You just turn back to your normal human self.
Yeah, but then you're like this meat sack inside of a cage.
That's easy. You just kick if you've been in one of those, they're really easy to get out of. I've been captured in a few of them before.
All right, so we'll say...
No kink shaming. No kink shaming.
That's a story for the After Midnight stream. So
I'm listening.
We say a week's gone by. You've been gambling. Do you boozer? Is Freddy a boozer?
No, because that impacts his ability to gamble and keep his mind straight.
Okay.
And catch mice.
I don't catch mice.
All right, bastard. So you've been bouncing around. You say a week and a half have gone by. No one has seen you in the group. So you've kind of just been like ships passing in the dark. A week and a half later, you're actually at a casino. The casino that you are at, does everyone remember? Anyone?
You guys haven't been to a casino? You knew I'd be there.
All I'm concerned about is my new rich best friend.
I remember Elamond. Something
Yep.
along those lines.
Yeah, Casino
Yes.
Element.
Yep. So, Freddy, you're at Casino
Yeah.
Element. What game do you play? Dice?
Oh yeah, of course, because I can stop them.
So you're at a table. The table's hot. You're actually not using any of your abilities or powers. You're just hidden one after the other.
Right, gotcha.
A couple of pit bosses have kind of started to keep an eye out for you because it's just unusual. And you're in the middle of throwing the dice. The dice, they're bouncing across the table. They bounce off the backboard. They're about to land. Lights go out. Not only do the lights go out, but the emergency lights don't come on. What
Okay.
does Freddy do?
Poof cat.
Okay.
Actually, I grab all my chips and everyone else's, and then I go poof cat.
So as you're actually reaching out on the
That's right.
tables and start scooping up the dice, or not the dice, the chips,
Fuck the dice, yeah.
you actually are like fighting other people who have the same idea. They're just like, as you're grabbing piles of other people's chips, you're having to like elbow other people's arms who are coming in to try and take your chips.
I fire one round into the air.
Oh,
So
this just got interesting.
all right, we're gonna pause there. So
Excitement.
Boom.
yeah, so we're gonna bounce to Master and Terry, or Gillard and Terry.
If y'all messed up my heat streak, I'm just gonna kill all of you.
I'm strangely okay with this.
Well, you'll have more friends.
You guys are coming to my house.
Oh, but Mike, if he gets me, you're not in
Yeah.
your house anymore.
I know.
But that's fine. I'm on a mission from God. He can't shoot me.
Plus, I told you not to die very explicitly.
You guys are not together at this moment. You cannot communicate.
We're always together.
We're not communicating. I just said if they ruin my hot streak, I'm
No,
gonna shoot them all.
I'm talking Mike and Terry. I'm just reminding them that Mike decided to inhabit someone else.
I'm just playing his memory. Don't die!
They're offering colored commentary, is what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
This will be on the extended edition DVD.
All right, so we're at the table,
Yeah. So you're at
chatting, eating with tea.
Yep. So you're in the private room of the eclipsed charm house chop house, or the eclipsed charm chop house. I don't know what I was saying there before. You're in the private dining area. You were about to place your orders when all of a sudden you hear a lot of commotion from outside the doors. The room you're in is actually lit up, so you have no idea what's going on outside in the rest of the dining area and the restaurant. But you hear a bunch of commotion, and then out of nowhere you hear a gunshot fire into the air. T jumps up as two of his bodyguards kind of storm to his side. He whispers something to one of the bodyguards. He takes off through the double doors, and as he opens the doors, you notice in the main dining area and the bar area, it's pitch black.
See, now all I can picture is Gillard by that portrait, actually looking at the direction of the gunshot with his phone.
You think I wasn't
Ruining.
multitasking?
Ruining Gillard's scrolling time. At the gunshot, Terry, who's been eating bread, is just, he looks up real fast, kind of squirrely, and then he ducks behind the opposite side of the table. And while he's down there, he keeps eating the bread.
Does he start like packing his pockets with as much bread as he can get?
He might grab a couple more before we run out.
Okay.
God granted you that food, Terry.
Are we talking about like bread, like flour?
The kind made from flour, wheat, and
Wow.
water, and
And-
yeast.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Some of this bread is so fancy it's made with ancient grain.
Oh.
But
Incredibly
I don't know what that
fancy.
is. I was gonna say I don't know what that is, but it sounds fancy. I saw ancient
Yeah.
grain at a restaurant once. I was like, oh, it's too fancy
It's
for
it's
me.
bone meal they dug up from the cemetery down the way.
Oh,
But
In
see,
New
it's-
Orleans,
no.
possibly.
What it is, it's heirloom grains. That's what it is. Non-GMO, just heirloom grains.
Oh, there you go. That's definitely at this place.
And this
Terry
is why
does
it
not
pays
know.
to have smart
Terry does not care.
So
Just
T
after
actually-
we got rid of Frank and Matilda. Here we go.
T looks at Gillard and Terry, who's, I apologize. Seems to be some kind of commotion. I'm dispatching my security to take a look at it. If you don't mind, please stay put. I'd be happy, and they should have this sorted momentarily.
All right.
Terry nods from the ground.
And this is just adding to that list of why I should get a personal bodyguard reasons. I'm so tired of getting shot at and
Hey.
almost dying. I'm so tired of it.
I just got a new body.
All right. So while you're in the
Shot there.
while you're in the private dining area with T, we're gonna flash forward to the bar area where Mike and Morgana are in the middle of the bar. Mike has possessed Gucci Rasputin, aka anyone remembers?
Garfinkel.
Garfinkel. That's correct. So, and then you were also with Officer Fred and his date Matilda. Fred looks over at Matilda and
It's not Frank.
it should be Fred. I might have said Frank,
Okay.
but if I said Frank, it was Fred.
It's
Fred's
Fred.
been drinking.
Okay.
He was undercover.
You can tell.
So Fred actually goes and he looks over at Matilda and goes, "Sweetheart, I think it's time you get out of here." And he kind of slaps her on the tush and pulls out his wallet, gives her about $100, and she goes, "Oh well, thank you for the date." And then she just kind of takes off, tucks it into her cleavage.
Well,
Mike
thanks for
stares
the-
uncomfortably.
As she's kind of walking off, you hear kind of like a "Oh," as she trips over a table.
Ouch.
It's unnaturally dark. The atmosphere and the air actually feels thick.
Mike's danger response is long gone, and he's kind of forgetting where he's at, just looking around, snickering at people who are cowering in fear.
Yeah,
This is
Morgana really
scary.
wants to throw back her drink, but she knows better and doesn't want to give herself a headache. But she is actively taking sips of her gin and tonic while this whole shebang is going on.
Okay, so we're gonna bounce back to you, Shewn.
Okay.
You're shot into the air. Actually, you heard a bunch of screams, and now people have actually abandoned their coins. You can maybe see 6 to 7 feet in front of you, but it's real hazy. I don't know where you guys are at. You ever get like those really bad fog storms early in the morning where you can barely see 20 feet in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of visibility you have, but it's within like 1 to 6 feet. It's that kind of murky. Anything past 6 to 7 feet out, it's like pitch black.
Okay. I grab as many of the things as I can, and then I switch to Kitty. Whoop,
Okay.
so that I can see.
I'm kind of debating if while you're in kitty form and walking, if there should be clattering of chips. All right, so
Well,
you're
I
in
mean-
kitty form, and you're just purring your way around tables, or
Well, I want to look around and see what the hell is going on because I should be able to see now.
You can't. It's still the same type of darkness.
It's magical.
I don't know.
I'm a practitioner. I should know. If I can't see in kitty form, then it would be magical.
You assume it is, but you've never been involved. Like, you've never seen this type of magic before.
I'm okay with that as long as I know it's not natural of any kind.
So from where you're at, so the way the casino is broken out is you're in the tables game area. Let me go ahead and open up a new sheet, and I'm going to do some scribbling for you because I think that's what people requested last time.
You're going to scribble? Awesome.
Yeah. I apologize because this is all freehand. So this is going to be like the table area. Oh, you guys can't see that map background. There we go. So this is...
All I see is a picture of the girl.
Yeah, you got to switch. You got to drag the marker over. There you go.
Bam. There we go.
All right. And that's really small square. This is why I hate maps sometimes. So this is going to be the table area of the casino. To the north here is going to be the dining. Yeah, see, I don't have a pen. I can't write restaurant. Who's scribbling?
Me?
All right, please don't.
He's adding a Freddy marker.
I am.
Okay. I thought you were going to do a bunch of other scribbling.
No, that's Freddy going, what the hell's going on?
So we got the tables.
For the usual Alex to appear.
So you got your tables here. You got the restaurant to the north. The poker tables would be right around there.
A porker face.
And then all this area here would be slots.
And the front door?
The front door would actually be more towards the south. You'd have to actually go through a bit of a lobby, and that breaks off into a showroom. So there's exits through the showroom, and then there'd be a kind of valet section right here.
Okay.
So where would you like
I will jump upon the table that we were at and try to maintain high ground off the floor because I don't want to be stepped on.
That's probably smart.
Jumping from slot machine to slot machine and work my way towards the door.
So as you make your way from the tables area to the slot machines, you can actually see the slot machines as you walk past them are all still lit up and flashing. But you can't really hear the typical noise and the cha-ching, cha-ching that would normally come with slots. And as you're making your way through, I'd say about 5 feet into the slot area, you start to hear the crashing of metals.
Okay. From what direction?
I'd say from what we'll call the east and the west. You just hear as if like machines are just being pushed over and smashed.
Okay. But I can hear them, but I can't hear the machines in front of me.
Yep.
Or the ones that I'm on.
Yep. The ones you're on, you can hear, but it's like muffled.
Okay. I'm still heading towards the door.
Okay. So we're going to bounce back to Terry and Master. You guys just hanging out with T still?
I've yet to see any particular reason why Terry would bail. How many of the noises have made it into us here in the room besides the gunshot?
From where you're at, you mainly just hear commotion and yelling from the dining area.
Are the doors closed again after the guys went out?
Yeah, they closed up behind them.
I gotta get out of here. still doing this?
You would notice that. So from the restaurant area, you're actually in like the private rooms, which will be like right in this corner here, and the bar will be about right into the center. It's gonna be it's a fancy like horseshoe shaped bar. Glass chandeliers hanging from the ceilings, and opposite of the private room you're in is actually where the kitchen staff is. So
Okay, do we see anything particular from there?
No, just letting you know the layout.
All right. Gillard, I don't know why you do what you do either, but if you're heading out, I should probably go with you. You're my only ride.
Sadly. All right. Well, darkness and loud noises and commotions. I'm getting out of here. Honestly, how many times am I gonna have to tell my driver to step on it?
So you guys are moving out from the private dining area?
Yeah, I guess I don't have a choice, really.
We always have a choice.
Yeah, you can stay bunkered down into that room. There are windows that align the room that have nice, fancy curtains hanging from them if you want to jump out a window. T might not be happy that you go smashing his windows, though.
No, we'll use the door.
Okay. So you make your way out of the private dining area into the main restaurant, and you find that you have to...
I actually address T before we go, because he's still sitting there, right?
Yeah, he is.
Terry
he has
stands
his guards
up and he says,
around him.
T, lovely meeting you.
So wait, T asked
Let's
us
reschedule
to
this,
stay,
you
right?
know?
Did he ask us to stay there while his guys watched the door?
He
Or-
recommended it. He said they should be resolving the situation shortly.
So there is security like around us, right?
Mm-hmm. In the room, yep.
Uh-oh.
There's one guard that's actually standing kind of over T's left shoulders. There's two guards out by so we'll say there's one guard here. There's two guards by the door. And then there was one guard that he had sent out into the restaurant area. Yeah, you can assume he has more security around the casino. But those are just the ones that you know of.
Well, from your statement about the window, he owns this place, right?
He does.
Oh. I didn't ask about the guards. I was wrong. We shouldn't go anywhere if he owns this place and he has security installed.
I mean, that's fair. I'd say Terry actually would get up, go over to the doors, and peek through them.
But you see me looking very antsy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So as you actually make your way towards the doors, one of the guards kind of puts his hands out to stop you. He looks over at T. T looks at Gillard, looks at Terry. He nods to one of the guards. The guard kind of cracks open the door. As the door opens, you see the same type of situation where it's just unnaturally dark. You can only see maybe 5 to 6 feet in front of you.
Terry is obviously a little uncanny, but whether he notices this as being a magical effect, perhaps he's reminded of the glamour he was put under not too long ago. You tell me, what would I roll to recognize a glamour?
And you really wouldn't.
Yeah.
You don't have.
I just want to put it
shouldn't
up to
say
chance.
that. I was gonna say, how would you try and, if you assume this is a glamour, how would you try and break it?
So kind of in keeping with his only experience with this, it broke the moment something made it obvious.
Mm-hmm.
The moment it was very clear. So he would look for something that should be lit up, even in a building where the lights have gone out, and see if it is. So, like a window that you can see out of in the restaurant area.
So in the restaurant area, there's really no open windows. The private dining area itself has windows that would view outside of the casino.
Well, in that case, he would look for things that appear to be putting off light, just not the right amount.
So if you actually go towards like one of the exit signs by the restaurant, as you get close to it, you actually notice there is a dim light that is emitting from it. It's just that there's like this unnaturally oily fog that's obscuring any light from penetrating. And as you're
Is that
investigating, it doesn't break anything. And actually what you notice is, as you're kind of looking around the room and looking at the different light sources, as the doors open, you start to notice this darkness that starts to seep into the room, kind of like a smoke just rolling across the floor.
Whenever Terry does notice that, he will jump and pull the door back.
So as soon as the door slams shut, the smoke becomes separated from the rest of the body of it, and it just kind of dissipates.
Did you see that?
Yeah. One thing after another, isn't it?
Just
So
every day with these people.
Yeah.
T actually noticed
You're
that
saying
too.
that. My life was normal before you guys.
T noticed
I'm
that
not gonna
too.
lie, mine wasn't.
T noticed that too, and you noticed he's kind of jumped up and he's leaning over and he's talking to one of his guards. His guard looks a little frantic, and he's kind of leaning over and pushing it onto an earbud in his head, and he's talking into his lapel, and he just looks back at T and he shakes his head.
That doesn't look like good news. What's the verdict?
You asking T?
Yes.
Well, my boys are telling me that they've kind of been cut off from our main security hub.
Well, so we're just out here by ourselves.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You can stick by me. We'll we sitting here is no longer a good idea.
Agreed.
So with that, he actually nods to the guards. He kind of meets up by the front door. He tells you that there's actually he has a private exit through the dining area. Or not through the dining area, through the kitchen. That if you'd like to follow along, he'd be happy to resume the conversation in one of his vehicles.
That sounds much better than this. You know, Gillard, I'm actually pretty happy that Mike didn't come with. This is probably better without Mike here.
Alright, yeah. Now that you two have met in a public area, if you're willing to go with him, then I can bow out of this, because I don't need to be here for this part of it. This is none of my business. I found the guy, here you go.
Alright, so you leave the dining area, or the private dining area. You make your way into the restaurant. And as you're making way through the restaurants, the guards, since they have a hard time seeing too, they're not trying to navigate around the tables. They're just shoving things out of the way. They're pushing people out of the way. You hear a bunch of shouting into the restaurants as patrons are starting to disperse. You actually, at this point, we're going to flip back to Morgana and Mike.
Okay.
So it's dark. It's oppressing darkness. Rooms have started to clear out. You still just kind of hanging at the bar, kind of sipping on your drinks?
Yeah, hanging at the bar, kind of sipping on my drink, kind of waiting, kind of assessing the situation to see what's going on, because I personally am not going to wade my way into the chaos if I don't have to, basically. I'm looking out for myself right now.
Okay. So from the south here, there's going to be like the entryway, this big arched entryway going from the tables into the like maitre d' area of the restaurant. And you can see it from what you could normally see it from the bar that you're at. But as you're just sitting there and you're trying to figure out what's going on, you just hear this loud smash that sounds like wood slamming against stone. And let me roll a dice and see. Mike, you actually notice a big chunk of wood kind of come spinning to your feet.
Well, would you look at that? That's probably not good.
What happened, Mike?
That's a big chunk of wood.
Oh God, and didn't you just hear that loud boom noise? That loud crash?
I fear for you guys.
I don't know if I want to stay here, and you...
You know, that's
Neither
a
of us...
good point.
Yeah, neither of us probably want to stay here because, you're endangering John's life by just us staying here.
Hey, John. John? You in there, buddy? John?
You don't hear anything.
I was gonna see if John had a car, maybe, but I don't know, he's not feeling chatty. I mean, I can walk out
You
there.
remember?
Well, yeah.
So, Church, you actually notice the piece of wood that's at your feet actually appears to be from the kind of a corner of a poker table. So it's got like that rounded shape.
Somebody's not doing very good at the tables. I'm gonna look around and in classic Mike fashion.
You're gonna leave the body?
We need a weapon, Morgana.
You sure that's a good idea when we can't even see?
I know you need a weapon.
Mike, I have more tools at my disposal than you probably understand.
There's glasses all over the bar. There's a paring knife.
I'm gonna reach behind the bar and start feeling around because I've seen shotguns behind bars in movies.
You don't have a shotgun, but you end up grabbing a bottle of expensive vodka.
This'll do. Kind of tuck it. Let's get out of here.
So, Mike, as you go to try and walk away, you notice you can't really move John's feet.
I look at the feet.
They're normal. It's like you you don't have control over his feet. And as you're staring at his feet, you start to feel this overwhelming pressure, like a really bad migraine, but you're a ghost, so you're not quite sure how you are feeling this pressure, just like it's trying to smash your head like a beer can. And we're gonna jump back to Shewn. So Freddy, you're at the start of the slots, and you actually hear the commotion from the slots has kind of moved past, and it's kind of in the table area now. You actually notice walking past you, and it doesn't notice you on top of the slot machine. This real slender, maybe 130-pound, 6'2" guy wearing a valet jacket just kind of walk past you, and as he walks past you with one hand, he just shoves one of the slot machines and has it just comes tumbling over.
Okay. I just stay behind him and stay on top of the machines and kind of follow him.
Okay. So he makes his way into the tables area, and he joins up with, there's 4 other people, all looking normal, run-of-the-mill people that you would normally find. There's actually, oddly enough, what looks like a grandma, someone in their maybe late 60s, hanging out at with this group. Everyone else seems to be like 20s, 30s. No one is particularly well built. They're not talking to each other though, but you kind of just see them huddled into this half circle as if they're talking to someone, but they're not actually communicating.
Is the vision? First of all, does the old lady look familiar, like the one that was in the square, the public square?
Nope.
Okay. How far away can I be and still have a visual on them?
You'd have to be probably within 6 feet.
That's fine. I'm just gonna stay at just barely keep their shadows in my eyes.
Okay.
And just
Are you gonna try and like circle
No,
around, or?
No, I'm gonna stay behind this guy.
Okay.
I don't want to go past him because I'm afraid that he'll smash me into a machine.
Okay. So at this point, a couple minutes go by, and one of them breaks off from the group, walks towards the restaurant area, and with one hand reaches underneath the table, lifts the table up, and just chucks it down through the hall, and it slams into the stone wall next to the maitre d' stand. And you just hear pieces of wood shatter and splinter all over the place.
And yet it's still dark.
Still dark. So you did, like, you saw
I
it
just
go
believe this
into the
shit.
darkness. You assume that it is shattered based on the sounds and the noise.
Right. So I'm gonna try and break this spell on me at least, because I can tell that it's truly something not natural.
Mm-hmm. It's not a spell on you.
Well, the area. I'm going to try to push my senses past it.
Okay. Are you using like your sight or your third eye?
I am going to use my senses as a cat, right?
Okay.
So those fear reflex kind of things that they use,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to kind of use them to kind of feel my way around and understand what's going on.
Okay. So you use your senses, and like you kind of get this third sense that it is definitely a spell, but it's emanating from a central source.
Then I start to go towards the center to try and figure out what it is.
So as you kind of work your way around, you notice it's actually appears to be coming from whoever's in the center of this circle of people. As you kind of get closer, describe to me how you're kind of walking up or prowling up on this group of people.
So if there were a slot machine like this, right?
So you're in the table area now.
I'm doing, or the table, so it doesn't matter. I would go against the leg of the legs and just kind of rub against them like cats do,
Okay.
and just kind of slink in and out of them like a cat would. I
Okay.
spend a lot of time as a cat, so.
All right. Yeah. No, that'll work. As you make your way there, you actually notice this sickly-looking figure wearing a black shawl with a, I don't know, it's like a cloak hood. I don't know what they're called. A babushka over her head. I think that's what my grandmother called it, a babushka. So she's got this shawl with a babushka over her head, but her eyes are sunken in, and her skin is extremely pale. And she's sitting there looking at her hand, and there's this black orb in the center of her hand that this smoke seems to be emanating from. And as it comes out of this orb, it pours down her hand, kind of clumps up on the ground, and starts to disperse out through the room, and it's just continues to flow out of this orb.
Okay.
So now you know it's magic.
Right. But I also believe that I'm alone.
Yep.
Is there people all standing around this figure still?
Yeah, so at that figure, there's the one person that walked off, and there would be 3 more people with her.
I'm going to try and slink up to a space where I could get between them if I could.
All right, let me pull up your sheet, because now you're getting into danger zone sneaking.
Mm-hmm. I'm not snankety. But I don't know if that changes.
Do you have any special abilities for sneaking? Probably not, right?
Well, he is a cat.
Would you go so far as to say on the highway?
I mean, I'll go hardcore if you want me to go hardcore here. I mean,
What do you mean you go hardcore?
I will make that orb fly up in the air.
And now we're getting into Kenny.
I'm trying to be, sneaky and not be too aggressive. I do believe I'm alone.
I'd roll either a focus or a guile.
What I get to roll?
So just roll. So right next to where it says like focus or guile, there's a.
They're both ones, so it doesn't matter. Don't even want to know what I rolled, to be honest.
Forfeit dice +1, a 0 plus -0. So you rolled a +1. You proceed to actually slink up between the legs of the human that you had saw walk past, that valet. He doesn't notice you.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't notice me, I'm gonna have to do this now, just because. I can make another character. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to force the orb to fly into the air into one of the other people, like launch it as a projectile.
Using your kinetic.
Yeah.
That's going to have you come out of cat form.
Well, I'm between this guy's legs, so surprise!
Okay. So you shift out of this cat form. You're now laying underneath this guy's legs.
No, I'm not laying. I'd be standing, right?
So he's gonna now be, you're piggybacking him?
Oh no, I'm launching him out of the way.
Okay. All right. So you turn into human.
Groin strike with the shoulder, brother.
Okay. So with this, we're gonna start initiative. But you are going to turn into human form and just plow into this guy, sending him tumbling to the ground. Do me a
Hurt, I
favor,
know, but that's
roll
okay.
roll a force for me. All right, that's really good. So we're gonna say you're gonna put a prone aspect on him because you just knocked his ass to the ground, and you did it with style, so you'll be able to invoke. You'll get a bonus on invoking that aspect.
All right.
Let's see. Created an as succeeded. Yeah, you get a free invoke on that aspect next turn. So, but we're gonna pause it at this point before we go too much into that. But you will, when we get back, you'll actually have the first round of combat in that initiative. We're gonna go to Gillard and Terry. You guys are making your way through the restaurant.
Yes, at the back of T and his security.
So T wants us to go with him in his car to continue this conversation. Why do I need to be here?
I don't know. Why do you need to be there?
That's what I was saying. I don't need to be here if Terry's fine with going with T. I don't need to be here.
That's
I
true.
can go
You
find
don't.
my car and
You
get
may
out
or
of
may
here.
not, but you may not want to take the standard exit from this particular venue right now.
No, I can take the private exit and just get my driver to pull around. I don't have to go with you. Like, I'm wary of taking any car to a secondary location. Just because I'm scared doesn't mean I have to be stupid. You know, if you're all right with it, you can go. You can either go with me or go with him. I'm not staying with you to get in his car and go to wherever he takes us.
That's fine. That's fine. You may have noticed Terry doesn't live a particularly secure lifestyle.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying, I have to think about my own safety too. You know. So, see ya. Adieu, or whatever the phrase is. I gotta get out of here, man.
So, Gillard, which way are you gonna head? Are you gonna try and make your way through the kitchen yourself, or are you gonna try and make it through the main exit? Like go to the valet.
I think T should be fine with me going through the private exit with him if you know
Hey, thanks for the follow.
T's met Terry, you know, they've conversed a bit, you know. Okay, this is where I take my leave. Do you mind if I take this other exit out? You know, we should have a sort of a working social relationship, right? Like,
T looks
let
at
me
you.
use that door.
You're free to go wherever you want.
Right.
My car's out back. Main valet's up front, but you're on your own.
Yeah. Thanks. Good. Bye.
So
You have
with
my
that,
number. You can call me. Yeah. Right.
with that, his guards continue to work their way past the bar area. Terry, as you're making your way through the back of the bar, you get a kind of catch a glimpse of what appears to be Gucci Rasputin grabbing a bottle from underneath the bar and turning around.
One sec. Single take, double take, triple take. He looks back. Mike?
Kid.
T, 1 second.
Can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak, but like you have this, like you're fighting off like the world's worst migraine ever.
I
Our party's speaking now.
evacuate the body now that I see Terry.
Okay, so
That's my haven.
you try to evacuate, and you feel this pull as if you're getting sucked down a drain. Do me a favor. I imagine you're gonna want to fight this off, right?
Preferably.
All right, give me one second to pull up this sheet. Let's roll this. All right, so go ahead and roll a stat that it's probably be force to try and break out of this kind of I don't want to say supernatural grasp. So you can't, and you actually find your vision starts to go black. So where you were able to see 6 feet before, you now see pitch black.
Is there a reflective surface anywhere near me?
No. You actually find yourself with just straight, as far as the eye can see is blackness, but as you kind of look around, you notice kind of what you feel is the center of the room is kind of a spotlight with a figure in it, and we're gonna get back to that. You don't notice Morgana there anymore.
I don't.
You don't. You're
Okay.
just by yourself except for this spotlight with this figure in the center of it. Morgana, you go back and you notice that John has kind of like slumped back against the bar, and he kind of plops down on one of the bar stools that's there and has kind of gone unresponsive.
Kid, I think there might be something up. I don't know what it is, but I don't get a good feeling from this.
Terry approaches and he's tapping John/Mike on the side of the face, saying, "Mike, what did you get into? Come out of there. I know you're not actually alive."
Mike, you actually, with where you're at, you feel like you can hear way off into the distance, like someone's calling to you.
Okay. So I want you to bear with me a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little bit of a role play backstory thing I've developed with Mike. That he has a psalm focus, something he heard when he was young, that he falls back on when he feels threatened. And it's a focus. So I'm going to use this song to try and focus myself and find my center.
Okay.
And it's Henning and I getting old, and we still haven't walked through the glow of each other's majestic presence. Listen and I hear my words are the ones you would think I would say if there was a me for you. All alone at the 64 World's Fair, 80 Australian small girl after all. Who was that at the pavilion? Why was the bed still warm? Who had been there? So I'm just going to keep going.
Okay. What are you just like, is this a nervous, like trying to calm yourself, or are you trying to achieve something?
Trying to find my focus so that I can calmly realize what's going on around me.
All right. So are you trying, so you're trying to figure out what this is?
Yes, Mike's an idiot, but he's been dead for a while.
So so you're just standing there singing. Nothing really comes of it.
I'm hoping that Terry can hear me.
He can't.
Okay.
Gillard, what are you doing at this point?
Master just said she'll be BRB.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna try to step away for a second, but I'm gonna try to get out of here. Like, I have my driver's number. We've already had this one time where
he better be circling.
Yeah, he needs to be on his toes apparently, because I am a hair's breadth away from death every second. So we're gonna have to revisit this whole personal security situation. But until that time, get to stepping.
So
Get
as
over here.
you make your way to the or you're trying to go through the main entrance, so you're heading towards the
Nah.
tables.
No,
No?
no. If T will let me take that back door, I will take that. That's my thing. Like, we should have kind of a decent enough rapport, which is why I was asking earlier if I can take that private exit
Okay.
and just dip, because you don't need me here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
does.
my thing. That's
Okay, so you're gonna go through
Yeah.
the back restaurant.
we had an
Classic.
agreement, you know. He hired
Okay.
me to find this guy. I didn't ask him to pay me up front, you know. We'll work out the arrangements for payment later. You know, I'm just making all that clear, being cordial and all that stuff. But like, if I could take that exit, I'm out. Okay.
All right, so yeah, you go,
Right?
you make your way through the kitchen then.
Classic Gillard.
I'm out. Great.
All right. So Shewn,
Deuces.
we're gonna skip you still, and we're gonna go back to Morgana, Terry, and Church.
Okay.
Hey kid, you know, if John and Mike together are unresponsive, do you think we should, like, the two of us try and pick him up and lift him?
This is kind of a first for Mike. He doesn't usually have a body to lift, but yeah, let's get them both out of here. It'd feel awful if John got hurt in the middle of something. Just because he took Mike out for a ride.
Well, more like Mike took him out for a ride, but yeah, same.
Vroom, vroom.
So yeah, we're gonna try to lift John.
Okay. If you two, and John is not that large, the two of you can successfully carry him. Mike, from inside, you feel like there's a light tremor, like you're being jostled a little bit. As you sing, you kind of notice there's this echo in the atmosphere as you're singing. It just kind of echoes as if there's this big cavern that you're in of nothingness. You notice the figure in the middle of the spotlight is just kind of sitting there and shaking, just kind of like quasi-fetal position, kind of back and forth.
So, in the midst of my song, you know, for the time when the storm tangled up the wire on the horn at the home at the bus depot, I'm trying to focus in on the figure in the spotlight. And then back at the edge of here.
So are you moving towards it?
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you get halfway there, you start to make out this, what looks to be a figure in flannel with its hair pulled back into a man bun and about a chest-length beard, just kind of sitting in the spotlight, shaking back and forth.
I don't recognize him.
You recognize him. You recognize it's John.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out and boop him on the forehead.
What do you mean you boop him on the forehead? You just like bop him?
Yeah.
So as you do that, he actually looks up, startled, scurries back along the floor a little bit, looks at you wide-eyed. Mike? What are you doing here?
You invited me.
Oh no. This isn't
What
good.
do you mean, oh no? What's oh no? What's not good?
She's caught you, didn't she?
Who is she?
I don't know her name. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good.
John? John, look at me.
It's not good. It's not. Mike, you have to get out of here. You have to get out of here, Mike.
I'm trying. I can't get out. You're giving me a headache, bucko.
I don't know how to get out. I don't know how to get out. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. And he's just kind of looking around. And from the darkness behind you, you kind of hear this kind of just chuckling. It's like a...
John, you got somebody else in here with us?
Oh, no. Here she comes. She comes.
John, do you need some medication? You're schizophrenic, aren't you? That's what this says. John, where are your pills, buddy? Where are your pills?
So, stepping out in from the darkness into the light, you notice this kind of smoky figure standing there, not really standing on the ground, but as if their feet are just kind of floating and dragging the tips of their toes along the ground. They're wearing this black shawl with this black babushka, real pale skin, sunken in eyes, real long, elongated fingernails, extremely dirty, and she's kind of just tapping them against each other. And with a real raspy voice, she looks at you and says, "Well, what do we have here?"
I'm gonna look her dead in the face and say, "What you doing?"
Oh, you're a lively one.
Lively? No, that's not a term I use to describe me, but thank you.
How did you get in here? What is your name?
My name is Mike, and I was invited. I would like to leave, though. Would that be okay? I tried to leave, and it's like I got my foot stuck in some mud or something.
Well,
It's kind of giving me a headache.
you're more than welcome to leave. Just answer me a question.
42? Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun on that one.
Yes. Yes, you did, sweetheart.
Sorry.
How do you know our friend here?
You know, that's an interesting story. He busted into this place, and then there was this crazy, and then bang, and then just flip, and I was like, ah! And this dude, he crashed his car, and then he's like, blam, guns, blam, and blood and brains, and like, we ran, and I was like, oh, and then we met this cool guy, my new rich best friend. He's got a real awesome car. It's the greatest car you've ever seen. But I swear, once I get out of here, he's gonna let me ride in it, and I want to like hang out the roof in the moon roof and be like, even though I'm not alive. I mean, obviously, it's gonna be just the irony of the whole situation. But then, like we were like, well, I got like he's got this whole religious experience thing about dead people, and he was like, oh, it possessed me, and I was like, all right, buddy, here we go, and I was like, oh, it's like I'm alive, I got a body. So we went to the casino. The only logical thing to do because I wanted to drink, I wanted to meet ladies, I wanted to have some fun. My buddy Morgana was with me. We were like hanging out. We were having some drinks. I was going to eat a steak, and then this crazy thing happened. The lights went out, and I couldn't move.
While you're doing this, she's just walking around the perimeter of the light, just kind of circling, kind of just nodding her head. And then she stops, looks at you, kind of contemplating for a moment, and goes, "You are of no use," waves her hand, and you feel this force just slam against you as if it's trying to expel you from this cavern. Are you going to oppose it?
No, I want to.
Okay. So this pressure slams against your chest. Your feet lift off the ground. It's like your arms and legs are outstretched, and you find yourself just thrust out of what you assume is John's nose as he sneezes.
I'm going to yell at the top of my lungs as I expel Excelsior!
So, Terry, you see John sneeze, and Terry just shoot out of his nose yelling Excelsior.
Mike.
Oh, wow.
Didn't hear that, Carl.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't know. If someone died on the internet, I'd recommend proof checking that.
I got a Twitter notification, so yeah.
Really?
I think it's real.
Man, Chadwick Boseman, really? That sucks. All right, so let everyone okay with actually taking a break at this point?
Yeah, I'm good with a break.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go to maybe a 10-minute BRB. And then we'll figure out what the rest of the group wants to do before we engage in some nice, friendly wrestling with our boy Freddy and some unknown strangers.
Dun, dun,
What
dun.
fun.
Excelsior.
All right. And we're back. So, right now, Morgana and Terry were carrying John as Mike just got expelled from John's nostrils.
Excelsior.
Terry, how do you react to seeing just Mike shoot out of the nose of an unconscious person?
I'm kind of used to him phasing through things as a gag. It's one of his favorite bits. So he almost chuckles before the reality of the situation, the kind of gravity of what's happening, sets back in for Terry.
Terry. Terry. Terry.
Mike, what is going on?
Do you have a
Wait,
tissue?
wait, kid, did Mike just get out of John's body?
I
Yeah,
did.
He's back, out of the flesh.
I did.
Mike,
threw the
reminder, if
note.
you're speaking, I can't hear you right now. Just
Wow, it was
or see
amazing.
you.
Right out the nose.
Yeah, he's back. Don't worry about Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Do you remember that movie Ghostbusters? Do I look like Slimer?
Does he look like Slimer?
No.
I mean, you could tell him he does.
Damn.
Not at the moment.
Terry, there's a little old lady in there that looks like your grandma.
Run that by me again, Mike.
There's a little
We're
old
still
lady
carrying.
inside of John.
So are you guys like walking and talking, or
This is
Are
a
you-
walk and talk situation for Terry. I don't know about Morgana.
Yeah, sure. I'll walk
So-
and talk too.
what direction are you guys heading? Are you heading towards main entrance, or are you kind of following Gillard?
We're following Gillard, I think.
T, more specifically, he's heading for his rear exit here.
This
Okay.
is great. Good. I'm finally away from them. Ah, at last. Any second, my driver will be turning this corner, and I can get back home.
We got to catch up with Gillard.
So, as you guys are actually walking towards that door, Gillard's with T. T's about to push the kitchen door open, and he actually gets slammed back as the door just swings open, plows into him, and one of his guards actually comes flying through the swinging door. As he slams into it, he falls backwards into the wall, bangs his head off the wall, and loses consciousness. So T's knocked out on the floor right now.
Oh,
Mm.
no. Ooh.
Oh boy.
Has a source from the bodily flung gentleman shown itself?
As the door swings back shut, you see this large, burly guy inside the door, just blank-faced. He's wearing
Is this the guy that busted the door open and knocked T back?
what knocked T back was one of his security guards being thrown through the door.
Yeah, this is the guy that threw the guard.
Yep.
Okay, so speaking of Ghostbusters, do you remember the librarian scene? Very early on, first movie.
Mike, I don't like where this is going. I've stopped at least moving John in that direction.
Oh yeah, Morgana's not moving if Terry's not, so.
All right, T is out.
T's out. T's knocked out.
T's mine.
So you get no resistance with possessing T because he's mentally unconscious, and you're going for a joyride in T's body.
A dive into tea.
So you find yourself laying on the ground, your eyes open, and you find yourself inside the body of a well-dressed, wealthy black gentleman.
Oof. Now we're talking. Stand up.
That's a bit odd. Are you okay?
I'm groovy. How are you?
Did you just see? Wait,
Gillard, I think that's Mike again.
Morgana, where'd you guys come from?
More importantly, where is your car?
Me and
Oh,
Mike and
no.
John's body were sitting at the bar, actually. This restaurant is attached to the casino that we went to.
Oh no.
So in mid-conversation, the door swings open super fast, slams against the door. The top upper hinge of the door shatters as it slams against the wall. And leaning against the door with one giant hand, you can actually notice his fingers have actually indented inside this metal door, is this just gibbering, foaming at the mouth gentleman. Is just looking at everyone with dead blank eyes.
Terry.
As soon as I see this, I want to cast a glamour on myself to hide me.
Terry.
Okay.
I think he's rabid. Terry.
While all of this is happening, Terry, who is a little more inured to Mike's shenanigans, is trying to rouse John.
Morgana, do me a favor and roll since you're trying to do it real quick, do me a favor, roll a haste check.
All right.
Okay, we're good. And I'm sorry, what were you doing, Terry?
Trying to make John snap out of it, trying to bring him around. I'm speaking to him. I'm, checking that he's actually still alive now that Mike's out of him. We don't know how quite that works yet.
John actually does start to wake up. He kind of looks around. He's a bit groggy. What happened here?
That's a really good question, John.
More importantly, Terry, go
Our
the
friends are
other
back.
way. Let's go.
Yeah, that's true. I help John to his feet, and I start making my way back to the private room where there were windows.
So John kind of follows with, stumbling kind of the ways.
I'm following behind too, though I am invisible at this point.
I'll help carry John.
Okay. At this point, we're going to switch back to Shewn.
Yeah. Good, because I've got a gun.
All right. So you've came to, you've turned from cat form into human form. Just like shoulder checked one of these bozos as you come back into human form. And you pull your pistol?
I not only pull my pistol, but I shoot the orb, and then I have it bounce into the woman.
Okay.
I do trick shots. Remember, I got to try.
I know. And you're shooting kinetic energy or a bullet?
I'm shooting a bullet, but I'm going to use Force Reflect to reflect it off to make sure it goes after it hits the orb, hopefully knocking it out of her hands. It goes up into her chest. I would assume that'd be the easiest place for it to hit.
Yeah, roll. Go ahead and for something like this, what's trick shot? Let me enhance pistols on trick shots. +1 for shooting a pistol. We're gonna go with a focus check for that. That's really good. Let me pull up my sheet real quick. So with this level of trick shot that you're doing, it's going to be extremely difficult to pull off the orb, at least bouncing back. So you actually, what you do is you do manage to shoot the orb, but the bullet actually passes through the orb. And not only does it pass through the orb, but it impales the left shoulder of this figure that's holding the orb. She looks up at you, kind of bares her fangs, and you notice she has 2 extremely long upper canines.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hisses at you, and the orb just kind of melts away. So
I wink.
So that brings up their turn. Right now you have 1 guy on the ground, 2 guys standing around you, and this female. She looks at you, and with this gravelly voice, she just kind of looks at you and she goes, "Oh, you're meddlesome, aren't you?" And then with that, she looks at the 2 gentlemen and says, "Get him." And all of them are going to get their attacks at the same time.
Yep.
So let me pull up their sheet real quick. The one on the ground is actually going to attempt to reach out and not reach, but he's on the ground, so he's going to try and just sweep the leg. I wish your name was Johnny, just so I could say sweep the leg, Johnny. So he's going to attempt to sweep your leg real hastily. So that'll be 4 of these. He's actually, he fails to sweep the leg, and he actually ends up clipping one of his cohorts. They end up sprawling to the floor as well. So now there's 2 of them that are prone. The one that just went prone is going to lose their turn as they kind of struggle. The third one is actually going to kind of just throw a haymaker at you, just with brute force. So this one will end up being a +2 to that. So they have a 2. I imagine you want to try and defend.
Sure. Can I use Force Reflect?
What does it do?
It allows for me to just reflect any force. That's what I use to stop the dice, to move fast, to do anything that deals with momentum.
You can attempt to. Go ahead and roll 4 fate dice for me.
Okay, tell me how.
Left-hand side, there's the dice icon, and then it says fudge. Go ahead and just choose 4 fudge dice.
Let me open this up. Oh, wrong screen, sorry.
Okay.
You want 4 of them?
Yep, 4 of them. So you managed to fail to get your, were you trying to do like a force shield? Were you trying to like...
No, I was just trying to have him just push him back, push him to the side, so his momentum carries him out of reach of connecting.
Okay. So you tried to push him, but in the haste to try and push him back and all the commotion, you managed to miss. Your force actually slams against one of the tables, making the table slide across the floor, slamming into some other tables. The party that's in the restaurant, you all of a sudden notice the black smoke has started to dissipate. The lights are starting to come back on, and you hear from the tables room, a bunch of tables have just slammed against the wall. He's actually going to connect with you, Freddy. So go ahead and take 2 points of stress. So just track 2 stress boxes. Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
So with that, we are going to go to the other half of the party. Are you guys still making your way towards the windows in the restaurant?
That is Terry's plan. Everybody else can be doing what they feel like is necessary.
I'm still
Terry.
following along.
Terry and Mike always work together.
I can't
We're a
get away
team.
from these people. I just can't get away from
So
Where's
as
your-
you
Where's your car, new best friend? Where's your car?
them.
So I'm gonna say as you make it to the doors of the private entrance or the private restaurant, John is kind of still stumbling his way along because he's groggy, and you hear a howl of pain. And as you turn around, the gentleman who was storming through the rear kitchen door, you now noticed has kind of just wrapped his arms around John in this just like big bear hug, and he's actually tailed by one other gentleman who's continuing in your direction as well.
I should say that Mike and I both said as we were walking this way that we were supporting John. We were under each of his shoulders. So if it's caught up enough to bear hug John, it's probably got us too.
Yeah, you feel him just like ripped out of your arms. So you're in arm's reach of this guy.
He's big. He's angry.
He's
Seems pretty
burly.
strong.
Yeah. So the one next
right.
to him is also kind of they're all just blank faced and kind of just foaming at the mouth. This one who grabbed John is actually he's foaming, but it's like gibbering madness.
All right. So, Terry, do we care about this guy?
He saved our lives, Mike. Does T have a gun?
Damn it, Terry. All right.
Heard a good
I-
ear.
I'm diving out of the body,
You're leaving T's body.
leaving T's body, and I'm going into the floor, which I assume is wood,
Stone.
stone, furniture.
There's wood furniture, yes.
I'm using poltergeist
Okay.
to shatter a piece of furniture,
Okay.
and then another mark of poltergeist, that's two, to form it around me in a horrific visage of eldritch terror, the worst thing I can imagine from all my horror movie knowledge, and get right in this dude's face, screaming at the top of my lungs in an attempt to scare him using the phobophage, create an aspect of terrified.
So I just want to point out, as you left T's body, his body just kind of just falls to the ground and he bounces his head off the stone floor again.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. He just went unconscious. I don't care about him.
So all right, yeah, you're kind of like this disturbed walking Groot. Is that a fair?
I'm thinking more of a like a ghostly visage, made visible
Okay.
with the debris and splinters.
Something you'd see in like a horror movie. This thing just stares at you, gibbering, no reaction. You get the
Mike,
sense
hit 'em.
that the lights are on, but no one's home.
Well, that's my bag of tricks. Let's go.
Terry is checking T's jacket inside for a gun and looks desperately at Morgana. Or
You
looks
I'm
pull-
invisible
desperately
right now.
for Morgana.
Oh my God.
You do find that T has this really nice Desert Eagle that he has in a shoulder holster.
That'll do. And
The
I
long
attempt
end,
to retrieve
the
the
bait-
Desert Eagle.
The long end at him.
And I'm standing behind Terry, so like, or I'm moving sort of like in the vicinity of Terry, so he doesn't accidentally like pew, staying safe.
All right, so Terry's got this Desert Eagle now. We're gonna go
Is-
back to. Oh no, was that church?
Oh, is Terry aiming it at the right end at the dude?
I guess we'll
We'll
find
find
out
out
when we
soon.
get back. All right, Shewn, we're back. Or Morgana, was there anything you wanted to do besides be with
Move
the-
behind Terry? No,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything I want to do, so I'm good.
I'm
Okay.
getting as far away from that as possible.
I assume Gillard is still making his way
Yeah.
towards the windows. So
Maybe if I
Gillard's at the door now.
Adios.
That's
Not
what
amigos.
I so picture him saying that, like going through the doors, looking at his phone, and the rest of the group being like, "Adios, amigos."
With,
All right,
with Mike silently in the background going, "Rich best friend, no."
They're not my friends. They're non-amigos. They're non-amigos.
We're
So
not even compadres.
Yeah, I hope I
Shun-
never see you again.
Shun, you just took this haymaker of a punch, right to the jaw. Your lips bleeding a little bit out of the corner. There's two of these, and that's the same thing, blank-faced people, kind of just gibbering nonsense. Two of them are laying on the ground, and one of them's just this brute force.
Okay. I'm still looking at the woman, honestly. And I'm just going to say, practicing against around the unenlightened, are we? And I'm going to turn, I'm going to dive over the slot machines, turning into the cat in that process, and attempt to launch myself further with an evocation using force.
All right, so where are you trying to get to?
Well, I'm assuming we're somewhere in this area. I'm not going to mark on your map because I don't want you to get mad. I'm assuming we're over here somewhere.
You're gonna be more like around this area, in the
Okay,
tables
so
area.
we're here. Yeah. So I'm going to launch myself, hopefully, all the way over to here.
Okay. So you kind
Heading
of
towards
just
the door. I
catapult.
know I'm outnumbered. I mean, I'm not dumb, but I
Right.
needed to stop what she was doing.
Yeah, no, it worked. You don't have a death wish.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that works. So you're going to do me a favor. Would you say that would be more of with how far you're trying to propel yourself? Would you think that's more of a kinetic force type thing, or
it's
are you
definitely
trying
force.
to target
I'm
yourself
in-
and focus on a specific area to land?
No. It's kinetic force. I'm making myself move faster and further.
Okay, go ahead.
This maneuver is known as the auto yeet.
Yes.
Go ahead
Force Tyson.
and because you're trying to create an advantage for yourself, right? By trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
away from the rest of these people. So go ahead and roll force for creating like an escape advantage. All right, so you got a 2. For a difficulty of this nature, I would say it'd be moderately difficult. So you tie it. So when you tie, you get a boost to your new aspect. So, what would you say this aspect is? Flying kitty cat?
This is instead of the flying squirrel. Yeah, it's the flying cat.
Okay.
Little flaps under my legs.
Actually, we'll just a tie can give you a boost to something, or it could be a succeed on a check. So we'll just say that you succeeded at creating an advantage to escape.
Okay.
So you've actually launched yourself out of the tables room, and you've managed to scoot, kind of skipping across the top of a number of slot machines. Since killing this orb, you can actually see everything. All of the slot machines have come back to life. There's a lot of the dinging and chirping and clicking that you would expect to hear from a casino.
All right.
You notice there's just debris everywhere. Some of these machines are just crushed. Other ones have been toppled over. There's coins and chips scattered amongst the floor.
I attempt to pick up a quarter in my mouth while running.
Typical. Alright, sorry, just making an adjustment. So everything's kind of started to come back to life. So you've escaped them. As far as you can tell, it doesn't seem that they're pursuing you.
Okay.
Terry, Morgana, Gillard, you actually notice from the south door 3 more figures come through the door.
Great. So I better do this next part fast, shouldn't I? Terry is not, you may be able to guess, an expert in the handling of firearms.
That's all right, because Mike has his cheek pressed firmly against yours, as firmly as a ghost can at the moment, and is pointing down the barrel going, okay, here's what you want to do. First off, make sure the safety's off. Then you're going to put your finger on the
Check
trigger.
the safety.
Check the safety. You're going to aim right down the sight. See the little gaps there and the little bit at the end? Iron sights. Iron sights.
I don't know, Mike. That seems pretty hard. I was going to do this. And I do check the safety first. And...
It's just like GoldenEye, Terry.
Who knows if T keeps one in the chamber? Terry doesn't even know that's a thing. This large, frothing gentleman has John in a bear hug.
I'm going to say that, yeah. I'm going to say that Terry probably doesn't even know how to chamber around. Is that a fair assessment?
That's fair. So we're going to find out if T keeps one in the chamber.
Yeah, so there's one big burly guy who's kind of got both of his arms wrapped around John, and then to his right is another one of these blank-faced gentlemen who seems to be proceeding towards you. Plus 3 more that came in through the southern door.
I do with style. So Terry, having been instructed to check the safety, he did so. Just steps right up. The guy's hands are occupied. He puts the gun right up against his head, and then he pulls the trigger. He reaches up for it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack for me. Just roll 4 fate dice.
Mike is very impressed with your style right now, Terry.
Can I do it with flair? I'm very stylish.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll say you can do it with flair.
There we are.
So, the way I picture this happening and you trying to shoot with flair is that you start to quote specific gospel as you're about to take
with
this
great vengeance and furious anger.
As you press the pistol to the temple, or not to the temple.
No,
to
I'm
the
reading
forehead.
him his last rites.
Okay. So as you're doing that, and I feel like this is such a Boondock Saints moment. Let's see where he's going to defend against it in terms of like his defense is going to be kind of just to duck out of the way as you're doing your grandiose last rites. He fails. He
feels pretty hard.
He's just too dumb. Well, you have to remember there's a +2 onto that, so it's just he fails bad, but it's not a -2 bad. So yeah, pull the trigger.
So first off, I should say, Terry doesn't know about recoil, and he definitely doesn't know about the Desert Eagle recoil. So he's gonna get this one shot, if the shot even goes off, and that gun is flying out of his hand.
Or hit him in the forehead.
He held it up like sort of to the side of the guy's head. He had to reach up.
He's
for it
probably
as well.
doing
So I
this
think it's
number like
just-
he's seen in movies.
Nice.
We're not quite that Boondock Saints here. We're not that strong. Just, you know,
All right, so yeah,
it's gonna fly off to the side when it goes.
yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
you pull the trigger, the gun, the recoil on it, it flies out of your hand. Your hand stings. You were not prepared for this. You didn't brace. You don't actually take any like injuries, or you don't have like a disadvantage. It's just you are really shocked on how much power comes from shooting a firearm.
Terry.
Mike,
my God.
Where is he?
I know you can't see it, but I've got the biggest ecto boner right now.
Okay, does it drop him? Does he go down?
He does. He just melts to the. Not he doesn't melt. I should be more specific with that, because in this world, someone can actually.
He could
melt.
just melt.
Yeah, he does not turn into ectoplasm and melt. He falls to he just eyes roll back, giant the top half of his skull is now missing, and he doesn't fall to the ground. He gets blown back from the force of it. He actually drags John to the ground with him, but his arms fall open and John kind of crawls away.
I'm going to reach my hand down to John and say, "Come with me if you want to live."
John
I help
actually
haul him up off the ground.
John actually does go to reach because he's dazed, and he can still see Mike. So not realizing what's going on, he does actually reach for Mike's hand, and his hand just goes through Mike's.
Oh, wait. Psych!
I would like to haul him up, and then I would like to move at speed.
Okay, so you pull him up. What do you mean move at speed?
Well, there's other people right here, and we were trying to head for the private room, escape through the windows. I'd like to do that quickly.
So this brings up. So we're still in initiative. So you can't move yet.
That's fair.
Who do you want to go next? Whether it be in the way we're going to do initiative is you choose who goes next.
Okay, that seems fair. Was I able to haul John up off of his hands and knees in my turn, or have I not done that yet?
No, you haven't done that. You're reaching down to help. So you've murked one of the guys and you're trying to help him up.
Okay. Like Morgana to go next.
All right, so
Good
since
choice.
I see Terry reaching, basically, I know I'm still invisible. So it's I can pretty much do this and pass undetected. I am going to run up and basically I am going to pull John to his feet since he's reaching out. So me and Terry, we gonna do this together.
Okay.
Surprise help. Excellent.
Who do you want to go next?
Let's see. So Mike technically already went, right?
Technically no. It's just been a lot of banter between them. When they communicate at the speed of thought, so it occurs much quicker than most actions would be.
True. So yeah, so I pulled John up now, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, let's get Mike to go next.
Mike,
All
are
right.
you in your full wood suit?
No, that only lasted a round.
Okay.
I can only do it for a single action, so. All right. So, let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
With my poltergeist ability, I can interact with the physical world for one action.
Okay.
Can that be an auditory interaction?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to bolt up to where Gillard is making his escape as quick as I can, which is probably pretty quick considering I don't have to stop for barriers
Okay.
like walls and stuff. And I'm going to use one more count of Poltergeist. I'm starting to get wore out here. One more count of Poltergeist to say, hey, rich best friend, we really need a ride in your car. Could you please pull around and help us out?
So when you use your phobophage, you enter the mortal world. So not only is there a voice, but you actually become visible.
Awesome. Even better.
One
Where'd you
of the
come
yeah, you can interact.
Come on. Please, you're my new rich best friend. We need a ride in your car. It's so bad. It's so important. I will totally watch any movie with you that you want. We can go for drinks. I will even help you cheat at cards. Just please get me, and more importantly, Terry out of here. If you don't get Terry out of here, I could die. And the world needs more Mike.
Stares at you, bright-eyed twitches. Cringe. Shaking my head, rolling my eyes.
So
pinching the
Mike,
bridge of
while
my
this
nose
is
if I
going
can.
on, you start to fade back into the spirit realm. Not the spirit realm, that's the never, but you start to become
Spirit
transparent.
layer.
Yeah.
Intangible.
Spirit layer, we'll call it.
The in-between. That might be copyrighted though.
The intangible place.
Yes.
Just got away from him, and here he comes again.
Oh, you're never getting away from me, Gillard. I love you.
This just took a turn to creepy.
Mike lives in creepy.
Mike is creepy. In fact, we should change that high concept to creepy apparition.
All right, so Mike,
You
that
should
was
still
your
tech wannabe on it.
so that was your turn. So, Mike, every time you've used these, like, you haven't actually had to push yourself like this before, and this is kind of a first for you with how worn out you're getting. You notice each time you've used phobophage, you become a little more transparent. So like you're more opaque now. You can like you look at your hands and you're starting to fade away a little bit.
Yeah, that's not good.
Gillard, I'm going to say that Mike has handed it off to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a total handoff.
I'm shaking my head, trying to figure out how to get away from these guys. Like, it's really irritating. I'm so
So
tired.
hard running away from us, not the bad guys.
Yeah, at this level, it's just everywhere I go, there they are. I can't. All right. I'm not even gonna deal with this. I'm not even gonna deal with what he just did. I'm looking at the windows. Hopefully they have some sort of safety thing to prevent people from opening them. Is this first story
There are
building?
these. It's a first story, but it's not like your house first story. It's this giant, grandiose building. So you'd really be looking at like a 1.5 story drop.
Just enough to break your legs.
Yeah, and they're large
Right.
picture, kind of like industrial windows, I guess is probably the best way to describe them. They're not like the type of window that has a little latch that you could just swing open.
There's not really any way to open them. You'd probably have to break them.
That'd be a fair assessment.
So he said there were curtains
I
on
don't
the
know why
window
someone
before.
just cheered in the music. That's a little off-putting. Sorry.
So you said there were curtains there, right?
Yep.
Being less than standard individual, I would probably have some experience with using nearby materials to facilitate my escape from a room, which may include windows. So I'm going to try to find a way to break this window and plan to use the curtains to assist me in getting down here.
Okay. How are you going to
'Cause
break the windows?
I don't know. Chair, something. I'm looking around.
Okay.
and
You look
like,
around, there's a chair, there's table, there's a little metal like serving not a speed rack, but
A cart of some kind.
yeah, it's like a serving cart where they have like the metal lids on them to keep the food warm or chilled.
A chafing
Insulated.
dish.
Yeah.
Do the lids have a sharp point to the handle, as is common in some places? Like
Yeah,
a
that's-
stylized.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We can say yeah. It's like you're not gonna stab someone with it, but it does come to a point.
All right. I'm gonna grab one of them. What kind of glass is this?
The window,
Yes.
triple pane insulated, safety glass.
Oh, you don't
Of
want
course. All right. Well. Ugh. There's gotta be a way to get this pain out of here. Is what I'm saying to myself. Like, taking the point of this container or this lid and just kind of holding it with both hands and looking at the glass like, we're gonna have to break this, you know, and
Mhm.
conveying that to Mike. I'm gonna need some help if I'm gonna get out of here, and clearly these guys aren't going anywhere. So that's what I'm communicating.
Okay.
So I see Terry shoot this guy, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, do I see where the gun went?
You just saw the gun fly out of his hands. It would be out of the private dining area that you're currently in, and it'd be scattered on the floor somewhere in the main restaurant area.
So-
I don't want to risk back in there.
So since Gillard is actively talking to Mike about asking for help with this,
Mm-hmm.
I have one more tick I could potentially use with Poltergeist, and it's gonna spin me basically. But could I use that to shatter the glass? Am I strong enough?
Unknown. You could assist, but there is the possibility that the two of you working together and hitting just the right spot of this window could cause it to start to crack. But you also get the sense that in your current state, it's going to be extremely difficult.
Looking around, does this appear to be like dire? Like this is the way, not in the Mandalorian sense, but like this is the way out.
I mean, it's the most apparent way out.
All right. In that case, I will use my last tick of ectoplasmic cohesion to assist in smashing the glass with Gillard.
Okay. So, Gillard, Go ahead and roll force for me.
Is there any way I could convince you to let me do that with intellect? Please. Having been a criminal in my mantle, I would know how to break industrial glass. Think about it? Huh?
I'm thinking about it, and I'm gonna need a slightly more persuasion on how your criminal background has given you an expertise in.
Can I assist?
Yes, can you phone a friend?
Can Gillard phone a friend on this one?
As a criminal, she has learned to break into buildings and out of them. Quite often, she breaks into buildings that are of industrial size and use these thick planes of glass. And after cutting herself once, she has learned to use the cloth to protect herself.
Thanks, Jallard.
Does Gillard by chance keep a spark plug in his pocket for just such an occasion?
I'm just trying to help out. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I like the criminal thing because of the fixer type of nature, and I think a fixer would need to be able to solve these things, like knowing how to break a car's glass from the inside out or outside in, for instance, is something that somebody like a fixer would just kind of know how to do. And you're like, how do you know how to do that? But it's just innate because they needed that knowledge.
Your knowledge is gonna know without the right tools. You're really gonna need just brute force to make it through these windows.
Pro tip. If it's safety glass, you want to get a very hard point, place it against the glass, and then smack the thing with the point on it. It's very fragile if you attack it in a very small area, and then
Central
it
spot.
shatters.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
So there's that serving bowl. If I exert, not serving bowl, but dome that it's attached to. So there's not like a thing on the inside, is there?
We'll say because of your intellect, it has gone from being extremely difficult to slightly more than moderately difficult. So it's lowered the difficulty some, but it's still kind of a makeshift.
And I'm assisting.
Yep. So and it'll still be a force roll, but it's not as difficult of a force roll.
Do it.
And you get a bonus from Terry helping. So whatever you roll, it'll have a plus, or yeah, from Mike, it'll have a +2 added onto it.
All right.
I know we're connected at the hip and everything, but I'm the pretty one.
Rolling the dice. But wait, if Mike's assisting and he's not inhabiting Terry, never mind. I was gonna ask if he's like using his muzzles. Never mind.
No, I'm using something better at this point.
All right. Here we go. Oh.
And then you get the
3.
+2 added onto that. So you actually kind of tie what you needed to hit to overcome this obstacle. So you succeed with a minor cost. So you notice
If I expend a point of stress, can I push it?
What do you mean?
To push that much harder to make sure we get a section of this blown out big enough for us to get through?
Not at this point, because like you're feeling extremely worn out from using Phobophage so much in a short period, particularly. You do manage to crack the window, and you crack it enough to where it actually starts to spread throughout the window, to where you know that like one more hit, this is gonna to shatter. As the windows crack and you're actually focusing on the outside now, you actually notice there's squad cars paramedics, fire departments are starting to pull up on the streets outside of the casino. Who do you want to... Actually, that's everyone's turn except the bad guys.
Except Freddy.
No, the bad guys haven't gone yet.
Okay.
Not at least the bad guys in this room haven't gone yet. So, Terry and Morgana, you're veiled. Terry, you're in the restaurant area still, right? Helping out John.
Yes, with John. Yep.
So one of
Well,
these
we got
guys.
John up, remember? We got
Yep.
John up on my turn.
One of these guys is actually going to proceed to walk towards and just snap up T and grab him by the ankle and just start to drag him along the floor back towards the restaurant.
I like T and all, but he didn't save my life.
Yeah, there goes that payment.
We got no
Alright.
ties.
Let's get out of here.
The other three that were at the door actually starts to proceed towards the restaurant door as well, kind of forming a barricade for anyone who's gonna try and come through. We're gonna hand it off to Shewn at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you're gonna escape.
I'm dipping out the front door.
Okay. So as you make it out the front door, you start to notice this same thing that Gillard had noticed, is police have started to arrive in force. You have SWAT who are starting to barricade off or police are barricading off the streets. SWAT, like armored vehicles, are starting to pull up in front of the casino. For all that they're aware, someone's actually trying to pull like a major heist on the casino.
I wonder why all that gunfire. Jeez.
That freaking assholes. So you're
Obviously, like you haven't fired a gun before any of this, right? Like,
that was the first thing he did.
whoops.
I shot the orb. What are you kidding me?
You also shot into the
I
ceiling,
was
stealing
in
the
the air.
chips.
Yeah, I mean, I have a gun. I use it all the time. Just so you know, you're gonna have to get used to it.
So you're
Alright.
you're in cat form, right?
Oh yeah.
So you just you kitty cat prance your way through the police line.
I'll rub against like an officer's leg as I go by.
So you make it away from the casino and you find yourself like across the street, kind of working your way through the spectators at this point.
I work my way back towards Morgana's place.
Okay. Who do you want to hand it off to?
Morgana.
All right, Morgana.
All right. So having helped John up by this point, I am going to start making my way toward the private room as well. What do I see?
You see Gillard, like just pounding against the window and the cracking progressing. It looks like it's one good solid hit away from just shattering as much as safety glass can.
Yeah. Is there any like dirt or anything within the room that I can like form to make like a solid rock, basically?
I mean, the walls are made of stone.
As was the floor.
True.
But, I mean,
True.
there's not. It is a pretty clean for how.
Aside from
Casino
the
dining room.
furniture I shattered.
Besides the what?
Besides the furniture I shattered.
That's true.
And the ferns. Don't forget about the ferns.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking about doing here is I want to use evocation to essentially form a rock, basically like a rock of earth, and just pound it into the glass, essentially.
Okay, so kind of use some earth magic make a chunk of rock out of the stone and just like throw it through the window?
Basically, and I want to mark 2 boxes of stress to do it to get a +2 as well.
Okay. I would say for something like this, you could either try to use just brute force to tear a piece of stone out of the floor or wall to throw, or you could try and use your focus to break down the actual different like connectivity levels of the rock to make a more rounded, pointed, specific type shape that you'd want to propel.
Yeah, I think I will use focus for this.
Okay.
You could just tear it apart with it, couldn't you? I mean, glass is technically a mineral.
This is true fact. These are
Yeah.
true facts.
I don't know enough about safety glass to disagree with that, so I'd allow it.
Okay, I will
All
probably.
glass to stand. I'm just saying.
I think for this I'll mark 3 boxes of stress to like kind of make the window just shatter in as much
With
as I can
fire.
make it shatter,
Okay.
or with focus.
Describe to me how this would look, or how you want this to look as you shatter the window.
So Morgana's standing there, legs apart, and she has her hands out in front of her, and she's focused like intensely on the glass, specifically where it's cracked and weak, basically. And whenever she does the thing, she wants the glass to essentially break apart at the cracks that are forming, like they're separating, like sort of pushed outwards, I guess, and then they just basically fall straight to the floor. So it just looks like they're suspended in air for a second and they just fall.
Okay. Do you have a magic word that you use for using this spell?
I do not.
Okay.
Pineapple.
So we're gonna say you have one, and you kind of just whisper it underneath your breath, and the window comes apart as you described.
All right. Do I need to roll or anything?
Nope. Because of the scenario that Gillard had set up, it's you don't need to roll. It's a automatic success.
All right.
Who would you like
Mike.
to hand off to next?
I can only get so stiff.
I will hand it off to Gillard.
Everybody's
Gillard.
doing it.
All right. Now that the glass is broken, I'm going to start trying to take the curtains off the window.
Okay.
Kind of a nod to Morgana in thanks. That
You
is
can't even
somewhat-
see me.
Nobody can see Morgana.
Oh, okay. So I guess the description was just for optics' sake.
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gillard probably thinks he did it all on his own. Like
Yeah,
he couldn't
so I
see
just,
Mike
you know.
helping, he couldn't see Morgana
You
helping.
may have just caught like the glass suspended in air for a second and thought it strange.
Damn, I'm good.
Gillard, yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
just kind of thanking the whatever. Not really the deities, but just kind of very happy that this isn't wire mesh glass, because if it were wire, it would have metal in it, and that would have been even harder to get through once we broke the glass, actually, because we had to cut that with the wire cutters. Just didn't bring mine today. That's where my mind's at, not on like anything else. I gotta get away from these people. Every time I get near them, I'm almost dead. Every time.
So I'm looking for my
Thank
notebook.
goodness wire glass.
What kind of glass are you looking for?
I'm just glad that it's not wired glass, because this is used
Wired.
mostly on service elevators.
It
I'm
probably
There's a
straight
wire
from
mesh
Wikipedia.
that goes inside the glass.
Yeah.
That's a higher level safety. Yeah.
I
probably
like this.
wouldn't be wire mesh.
Not
Well,
as
not
not,
a-
on not on a casino window.
right. That's
No.
not so fancy, and it's probably against some kind of code. But no, I like this for future. Thank you.
It's probably laminated. Probably. I don't know.
Let's
'Cause
just
that
get
would
let's
be
let's
more
just
pretty.
focus. Let's just focus on the curtain.
Listen, if it has metal in it, we'll just
That's
melt
what my
it. It's
brain
okay.
is. Yeah.
Let's just
And
focus
so
on the curtain.
curtains. Yeah. All right. They got to be like really pretty quality, right? They got to be the length of the window, at least, right? Because this isn't like a horrible place. They got to be at least the length of the window. So there's probably
They're probably ridiculously thick and very tall. Yes.
Yep.
so there's probably a very strong pole that they are mounted up on above the window itself,
Yep.
which is more than likely wider than the window itself when held horizontally.
Yes.
So I would then like to use the curtain, the very thick curtain, to brush out and pat down the laminated safety glass or broken tempered glass, as the case may be, to make sure pieces aren't in the doorway. That way when we try to grab it to get into the window or out of it, it's tough. It's covering the window's sill at the bottom, so we don't cut ourselves when we touch it with our hands.
So you're trying to clear away the rest of the broken glass and make a makeshift rope, essentially.
I'm essentially just putting the curtain outside the window.
Okay.
And making sure that the poles on either side stay as low as possible so it doesn't turn and like fall out the window. And making sure the curtain is flat and on both sides so that way there's plenty of surface for us to grab onto if we need to. Somebody can hold it in the middle to stabilize it, stuff like that.
That'll work.
Cool. All right. Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Am I gonna roll for that? Or?
No, you don't have to roll for that. And right now, there's no one bearing down on you. The people you were in conflict with, it seems like after they grabbed T, it appears they're retreating.
We gotta get out of here.
Mike silently agrees.
So at this point, we can say that initiative is over. And the rest of the party, I imagine, wants to escape the casino through the window they've broken open.
I'm very weakly like, Terry, come on, buddy, through the window.
Oh, we're heading out.
Like I'm actually fading from even your view at this point.
So
You're a little toasty, but
gonna
you'll make it.
stabilize
You're
the-
still anchored.
I'm gonna stabilize the curtain rod, or whatever the pole is. If people are trying to like grab one side of the curtain, I'm like telling them to balance their weight with both pieces. So
I'll balance
stable.
it out. No problem. I got you.
Wait, what? You're an apparition. You can't
You can't see
do
him.
that.
Mike
Yeah,
don't
you can
care.
see him right here.
What?
I'm still doing it.
Yeah. You don't know what Mike's doing or saying at this point. Mike's
Alright,
just
alright.
talking to himself and Terry.
He's just helping.
He's just doing his thing, man.
All
just
right.
doing Mike things.
So is everyone except for Shewn, who's already escaped, want to escape this way?
Yes, this would be pleasant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
thinking
a
the
little
same
curious as to see if anybody is arranged at the bottom of this side of the building.
thing. If you look outside, there's no one there. The police, you can tell as well. The police are starting to barricade off the block around the casino.
All right, out we go.
So I'm gonna say everyone successfully leaves the casino, and that's where we're gonna wrap up this week's session.
Ooh.
So, this is first
wait.
more defined combat outside of what happened in the alley. How does everyone feel about it?
It was very exciting.
Good.
I feel like I was the first one in combat and the first one out.
It's a very accurate statement.
That's the Freddy Figurola style.
I feel like I was in more danger than anyone else for some reason.
What? Did you miss the part where I was surrounded?
Yeah, I mean the babushka.
Freddy had the babushka too.
It's true, but he shot her. Or at her.
You got the real
No, I shot her.
version. You got the spiritual version.
Yep.
Which is breaking one of the laws, by the way.
She's scary.
I get the sense by the hissing, the fangs, and the motley crew, she doesn't care about the
rules.
laws.
Well, somebody had to stop her.
Uh,
For a
I will
penny
be
and for a
applauded
pound.
one day for doing
Carl,
that.
a babushka is a piece of cloth headdress
No.
that.
Wait. Let me stop you. A babushka
Let's make some corrections. Is a Russian
babushka is a
grandmother.
Russian grandma.
Yes.
You're just
They
talking
wear
about
a scarf as a headdress, and it is often referred to as a babushka scarf.
Yeah. All right. Good. Because my grandmother wore one, and she called it her. She wears her shoe. She goes, "I'm gonna wear my babushka."
Yeah.
That was
She,
my
she,
Polish
Which is
she
not
forgot the word
incorrect.
scarf.
Yeah, it's a
There's
it's
a
kind of, I
particular
think-
style and way of wearing it that makes it referred to as a babushka scarf, but it's just like saying a granny scarf.
I think babushka literally means like beloved.
Babushka, a headscarf tied under the chin, typically those worn by Polish or Russian women.
You're looking on the internet again and believing that it's true.
No, no, actually, well, I don't know about Russian. I know Busha is grandmother for Polish.
Yeah, Russian. It's like the equivalent of like Liebchen for German.
Babushka.
Because you can actually call your
So
child.
basically, he's
a
referring to a
babushka.
headscarf, just so you understand.
Like babushka is a term of endearment.
A triangular folded kerchief for the head, a head covering resembling. All right, so I'm not completely crazy. And number
No,
2A
you're on the right way.
is grandmother.
No, you're Polish. It's okay.
Yeah, we let you slide.
All right. Anyways, since we've had this moment of
Levity?
yeah,
Linguistics.
ethnic education, heritage. I don't know. I don't know what that would fall under.
Weird Polish words.
Yes.
We just slated under weird Polish words.
So, combat in Dresden, very much more loose than like D&D or others. What is everyone's thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, aside from Mike totally saving the day and be the hero of like everything.
I mean, if it wasn't for the chickens in the kitchen, it would have been a nice battle.
True enough.
Yeah.
It was exciting, you know, because like usually Terry, the character in any other system, would be really quite worthless in combat.
But Terry's the only one that I think that actually killed somebody.
Yep.